More storms hit the area overnight. What's ahead for your work week? And a waste of time, what police are saying needs to change when it comes to responding to some calls. Plus, a growing problem, how Florida health officials plan on tackling the Zika virus.
We'll get to those stories in just a few moments. Good morning, I'm Fernanda Lopez.
And I'm Chris Gilson. It is Sunday, August 7th, saying thanks so much for joining us.
Yep, that's right. New Mexico has experienced some crazy wet weather over the last week, and last night was no different. Here's some of the heavy clouds and rain that loomed over the Albuquerque metro area. Chris, what are we seeing for today?
Well, it's a quiet start right now out there. A gorgeous sunrise here in the metro. Temperatures starting out on the comfortable side here as you step out the door. And we're dry to start all across the state right now, but later on today we'll see another round of showers and thunderstorms developing. Temperatures right now in the lower 50s in Taos and Santa Fe, upper 50s in Las Vegas. The farther east and south you get temperatures sitting in the upper 60s and low to mid 70s. As we head into the afternoon hours, especially after lunchtime, we'll see the chance for showers and thunderstorms returning first to the mountains and then more rain chances here in the metro. We'll see more rain for the week ahead. We'll talk about those chances coming up ahead in your full forecast in a few moments.
With APD short-staffed, time is precious, but right now something is taking up a lot of it.
With APD short-staffed, time is precious, but right now something is taking up a lot of it.
We do spend an incredible amount of time responding to these alarms.
APD says a study released in June shows they responded to 22,000 burglar alarms over a year span, from 2014 to 2015. The estimated time to respond to all of them is about equal to 13 full-time officers. The problem? Most of these calls are false alarms.
Usually pretty constant with false alarms. We see thousands of them over the year.
Oftentimes, alarms are activated by pets or balloons or falling objects. The city does have a program to reduce the amount of money and resources wasted on false alarm calls around the city. They require people to register their alarms for $25 a year. They start fining after the third false alarm in a given year. That fine is $150 every time. But even that's not enough.
That's what we're constantly looking into. Some of those calls can hold for 2 to 3 hours. We will respond to them at this point, but they do take resource hours, man hours responding to these alarms.
At least one of the community policing councils have recommended officers stop responding to these alarms and leave it up to private alarm companies to verify an intrusion first. The department says they're now looking into other options.
But we may be able to relocate or allocate our resources a little bit better in the future. That's going to be a public thing. If the public agrees that we should stop responding to these alarms because there's private companies responding to them, then we'll readjust our strategy.
Other cities across the country who have implemented a verified response policy have seen dramatic change. Milwaukee saw their annual alarm calls drop from 30,000 to just 620 in 2012. This morning, a local MMA fighter is still behind bars accused of raping a teen. According to a criminal complaint, Steven Cervantes had sex with a 15-year-old multiple times last year. Detectives say they used cell phone records to place Cervantes and the teen in the same place on dates when rapes allegedly occurred. Cervantes, who has a separate pending kidnapping and rape case, saw a judge and was given a $50,000 cash-only bond for this latest case. A family is mourning a loss after a Durango man died in northern New Mexico after trying to drive through a flooded arroyo. San Juan County deputies say it happened Friday afternoon south of Blanco, a little ways east of Bloomfield. Former Police Sergeant Derek Moeller reportedly tried to drive across a flooded wash and got stuck before the raging waters rolled his truck and killed him. Moeller leaves behind a wife, daughter, and son. Florida continues to battle the Zika virus. The state has recorded nearly 400 Zika infections, including 55 cases involving pregnant women. Marley Hall tells us what Florida is doing to combat this issue.
Insecticide rained down on Miami's Zika zone. The spraying continued this morning by air and by land, targeting mosquitoes that cause the virus, which has been linked to birth defects.
My one job is to protect this baby. I can't get bit by a mosquito.
Leslie Isaza is 36 weeks pregnant. She and other expectant mothers like Leah Acero are on edge.
The most fearful thing is I don't want to have a child who ends up with some of the severe cerebral defects. that are being talked about, including microencephaly.
Another concern? Tourism, Florida's biggest industry. Visitors spent about $89 billion here last year. Governor Rick Scott is doing damage control.
This is a safe state.
He says mosquito control crews in Miami-Dade County have been effective, but a travel advisory warning pregnant women not to visit the area remains in effect.
We've tested over 20,000 mosquitoes now interstate, and we've not found one mosquito with Zika.
There could be a new weapon in the fight against the virus. Federal authorities have approved testing of genetically modified mosquitoes designed to stop the spread of Zika by reducing the insect populations. Mutant male mosquitoes pass on a lethal gene to the females, killing their offspring.
On to a heartwarming story now. Dion Leonard is a ultra marathon runner. Earlier this summer, Leonard was competing in a grueling week-long run across China's Gobi Desert when a friendly little dog started following him. He later named him Gobi, who stuck with him for days over mountains through scorching heat, 77 miles all the way to the finish line and a second-place medal.
It was an amazing experience to run into the finish line with her, and my wife actually says to me, it's the only time I've ever seen you smile at the end of a race.
Yeah, very cute. Leonard is now waiting to officially adopt Gobi. Before that can happen, though, the dog must spend up to 4 months in quarantine, but Leonard's hoping they will be reunited in time for the holidays.
Time to go. Shots fired in an Albuquerque neighborhood has residents eager to pack up and move. And on the lookout, police are still searching for a stabbing suspect, what we know this morning. Plus, missing on the job, a newspaper delivery man has been gone for days. How you can help find him.
We'll get to those stories in just a few moments. Good morning, I'm Fernanda Lopez.
And I'm Chris Gilson. It is Sunday, August 7th.
Yep, and we've seen a lot of crazy weather over the last few days. We've experienced periods of thunderstorms this week. Last night, heavy clouds and rain covered the New Mexico skies. News 13's viewer Annie Whitney from Cerrillos captured this great photo of some lightning in the area. Take a look at that. Also, Kyla Boswell Amaya snagged this photo of the after effects of the storms, this colorful rainbow. So what can we expect as we head into this weekend?
Well, we're seeing another round of storms later on today after a quiet start, a gorgeous start here on your Sunday morning. And then as we head into the afternoon, we'll see another round of some showers and thunderstorms, just left with a few clouds this morning here across the state. And temperatures pretty comfortable after that rain rolled through last night. Temperatures in the upper 50s in Santa Fe to start on your Sunday morning, 54 in Taos. Take a look at the southeast corner of the state, looking at the low to mid 70s in Roswell and Carlsbad, and 71 in Las Cruces. So as we head into the afternoon, high temperatures topping out in the upper 80s with that chance for some showers and thunderstorms later on today. We'll have more rain chances for the week ahead. We'll talk about that coming up in a few moments.
Some people in an Albuquerque neighborhood are considering moving because the crime in the area has become worse. Gunshots rang out outside a northeast Albuquerque apartment after a fight over loud music. A teenage girl was trying to tell us just how dangerous the neighborhood has become when the threats started flying. News 13's Candace Hopkins reports.
I was like, Mom, there's people screaming again and they're fighting. And then we got to the window and we heard a lot of shootings. And we heard a lot of gunshots.
14-year-old Anayi Ortiz and her family say it was terrifying.
Come around and he would turn around with the gun pointing. And my sister would say get down.
They were watching as police say an argument over loud music led to a barrage of bullets.
He was just firing away round after round after round, and I don't know what he was shooting at.
Outside this apartment building near Louisiana and Central, nobody was hit. Police arrested 17-year-old Andrew Winfield for the shooting. Ortiz says she's been hearing a lot of gunshots lately. We even found a casing in the street.
This already happened 3 weeks before.
Ortiz has lived here her entire life and says the neighborhood wasn't always this dangerous. Other neighbors agree.
It's really sickening. It's really bad. The neighborhood has really gotten bad.
Residents say there are a lot of family homes here, but the apartments where the shooting happened is one of the trouble spots. It was clear people leaving there did not appreciate the attention.
My thing is, why didn't you guys come the last time my little cousin got shot? You guys want to come for a stupid shooting?
Then another man going by started yelling at the teen.
just sound like.
You couldn't hear it on camera, but that man then threatened Ortiz. She says her family doesn't feel safe, and asking for help only causes more problems.
If you call the police and they can get mad at you, like, why'd you call? Like, you still cause problems. Like, I didn't finish solving my problems with someone.
Candace Hopkins, KRQE News 13.
Some neighbors we spoke with say they'd like to move out of the area as soon as possible because of the violence they've seen, but they don't think anyone will want to buy their homes. The alleged shooter now is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and shooting at an occupied dwelling. APD is still looking for a man who stabbed someone yesterday. It happened near San Mateo and Central a little before 8 yesterday morning. Police say one victim was stabbed and rushed to the hospital. Investigators are now looking for a Hispanic man who left in a silver four-door sedan. If you know anything about this stabbing, call police. And state police are on the lookout for a man who went missing while making newspaper deliveries for the Santa Fe New Mexican. Police say Elmer Waite left Santa Fe Friday morning en route to Clovis. According to the Clovis News Journal, Waite made his delivery in Clovis, but then his van's GPS went offline east of Fort Sumner. Now police say Waite is 6 feet 2 inches tall, 185 pounds, with brown eyes and brown graying hair. He was last seen wearing black pants and a beige t-shirt and baseball cap. He was driving a white delivery van with New Mexico plate number FLZ584. Anyone with information is asked to call state police. Libertarian nominee Gary Johnson will keep fighting after a judge dismissed a lawsuit he filed along with Green Party nominee Jill Stein. The lawsuit focused on the Commission of Presidential Debates. Both candidates argued the commission's rules violate antitrust laws and the First Amendment. Those rules say a candidate must be polling at least 15% to participate in the presidential debates. Former New Mexico Governor Johnson is polling at about 10% right now. The state said since the commission is a private nonprofit and not a government entity, the First Amendment rule doesn't apply. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump is trying to rebound from one of the toughest weeks of his campaign in New Hampshire. A day after mending fences with key Republican leaders, Trump railed against rival Hillary Clinton at a rally in Windham. Wendy Gillette has the latest from New York.
While Donald Trump's running mate Mike Pence shook hands with voters at an Ohio restaurant, the candidate himself rallied for support in the battleground state of New Hampshire.
The last time I was here, we won, right? Big league. And we're going to win again. I'll tell you, we're going to win again.
The Republican nominee officially endorsed New Hampshire Senator Kelly Ayotte's re-election bid Friday in an attempt to appease party leaders. He also threw his support behind House Speaker Paul Ryan and Arizona Senator John McCain after initially declining to make endorsements. Several polls out this week show Trump trailing Hillary Clinton nationally by about 7%. On Friday, journalists put Clinton on the spot for suggesting in an interview that FBI Director James Comey had characterized her comments about her private email server as truthful.
I may have short-circuited it, and for that, I will try to clarify.
The people of this country don't want somebody that's going to short-circuit up here.
Wendy Gillette for CBS News.
Clinton and running mate Tim McCain are off the campaign trail this weekend. Clinton will hold her next event tomorrow in the battleground state of Florida. Now, don't forget, if you'd like to keep up with our 2016 campaign coverage, go to KRQE.com or our KRQE News app. World Series dreams for the Eastdale Little League will continue. Last night, they defeated Colorado 6-5 after being down 5 runs in the second inning. They won both of their games in the Southwest Regional. Now they move on to play a very good Texas West team Monday at 7 p.m. An emotional wedding day. Bride Jenny Stephen's father was murdered back in 2006. His heart was donated to a man named Arthur Thomas, who had been waiting for 16 years for a transplant. Fast forward now, 10 years later at Stephen's wedding, she had an opportunity to meet Thomas and feel the beat of her father's heart. So Thomas, with her father's heart, walked Stephen's down the aisle for her wedding.
So I was just so thankful that my dad could be here with us today in spirit and in a piece of his physical being as well. That was really, really special for us.
Yeah, she has been in contact with Thomas for the past 10 years via letters and phone calls.